We're just gonna go over supply and demand, key levels, and then kind of a possible, show you guys what I look at for squeezes and any push up everyone considers a squeeze right now. But with supply and demand, let me go ahead and erase some of these so we could go ahead and start kind of fresh. So I always start, kind of higher time frame. You always want to check out your month. You always want to check out your weekly. Even though if you don't do supply and demand, check out what these candles are showing us. Definitely monthly. Showing us we had a nice push down, but we're starting to rebound a little bit, but we have pretty far away to move up. Weekly, we're on an inside week after a pretty strong 3 weeks down. After what, 8, 6, 7 in a row, one green week, and then we had 3 in a row. So we're inside week with a gap above. So weekly, we're kind of getting strong. I think we passed the 50% of last week's candle. Yeah, 50% was 3758. So, we're making our way back up, but definitely not strong. And then you could go down to your daily and just these daily candles. If you look at ES and you look at SPY, these daily candles are pretty. SPY, this thing's just, I've not seen, it's crazy. It's kind of like where the little manipulation comes before the big move. You can tell it's all sporadic. Price action doesn't make sense. So let's go ahead. I chart mainly ES for playing my SPY and SPX. But mainly I start, with supply and demand, the concept behind it is you want to find a strong move after kind of a smaller basing candle. So we have this like kind of sideways, like this area right here. In this area from the top to the bottom, they agreed on price, for 2 days right here. They agreed on price, and then sellers came in, pushed the price down pretty strong. So you kind of want the price to come back up, and then you want to look to get into another put when they sold here more times than likely they're going to sell again. So that's kind of the little background behind supply and demand. There's a lot to it, but we'll go ahead and start charting on what I saw. Kind of erase a lot of these. I want to keep the key levels. So, we have this strong move down, really doji, nice basing candle, strong move up. So that is going to be my daily supply to the downside. Right there, this is a strong move. Then, next daily we're up 3.5%. So on the daily, we really want to see price come down here and then see a nice little bounce back up. What I also like to do is kind of go lower time frame to see where we could possibly get kind of lower time frames in the zone. And we really don't have anything on the lower time frame, as I'll show you probably a couple other stocks possibly right here, but we did break below it here, so it is just, I do not keep it if we do break below. And then to the upside on the daily, we have this one's been keeping us down, but we have been consolidating it, so I don't like to keep it. So we are, probably on a 2-day or 3-day up here. I like the 2-day. Right here, strong move down. So we have a lot of upside, a lot of this possible sell-off recovery if we are able to push past probably SPY 380 is where we're gonna definitely need to get past. So more on the intraday, especially with ES and SPY, you kind of want to break it down a little bit better and start breaking it down to 4 hours, 2 hours. You can tell our 4 hour right here. You have a push up and a push down. If you guys know swing highs, swing lows, so stocks don't directly go up. You're going to have swing highs and swing lows. We have a down, an up, down, up, just making this pattern. You can tell where, the pattern reversed here. We're starting to make higher lows. That's why I think possibly we continue up. Even though I did grab a put end of day, but you can tell when these swing lows, we kind of return. We're going to start returning back into supply. We push up, and then look, we come back, and we're going to return into a demand in a certain time frame. And we push up. So that's really, really the goal of this. You tell this 4 hour, 22nd yesterday, there's our rejection. They sold off super strong here. Over 5% move here. They came back up. We touched a zone, sold off again. Get 2%. You grab a put there, lowered, maybe a week out or whatever on SPY. A couple days, give you some time. And a 2% move's pretty solid. Until we did reject it again today. But the more times we tap this, the weaker it becomes. That's why, it's not really very high probability to get in a put there. It's just we're just creating a ascended triangle. Use your your normal T on this. We're pushing up, down, up, down, up. Just we're basically knocking at the door. Eventually, we're gonna bust through that door if this seller is not strong enough. Yes, Jake, it is being recorded. So that this is keeping us down right now. We have the super strong sell-off. We're able to push back up. Supply and demand is price imbalance and balance. So your market's going to be either balanced volume-wise or imbalance. So right here you have our supply, which is a price balance. There's buyers and there's sellers in this area, and then right underneath it we have our imbalance. This is going to be all straight sellers, not 100% selling, because this is kind of higher time frame. And so what the market's going to do, especially on SPY and ES and QQQ and NQ, all the big liquidity, these strong sells are not good for the market, not good for bonds, not good for mortgages, not good for the overall economy. Just to have a strong sell-off with one market participating, they're going to want to bring it back up and fill this volume in to make it balance. Most of the market, if you go on ES on the daily, most of it's going to be pretty much balanced. We have a sell-off here. What we do? We come back up. We balance it out. All the sellers here, all buyers here. Nice strong push up. What do? Eventually, we recover. Most of the time, you're not gonna, especially on ES and SPY, you're not gonna have one-sided, just a straight strong sell-off. So eventually, we are going to cover this back up. You can tell, look at this daily candle, strong sell-off. What do? We recovered it. With options, the thing that kills people with options is theta. So it's just a matter of time, trying to figure out where this time frame is. But right now, get back to supply and demand. We have this 4 hour that's keeping us down. And then, we also had what I really wanted today was this 4 hour here. At 2, overnight session, they pushed it up really strong. We hit that 4 hour yesterday, sold off. And then, intraday, I like to just kind of bring it back down, bring it down. You can tell 1 hour. We could go 1 hour. You could do a 30 minutes. You could do 15 minutes. You could do basically any time frame. Here's your 15-minute. Then we have the strong buy up. They basically tried bringing it down, mostly brought it down all the way. Nice push up here. This 15-minute right here could have been a demand. I really want to see a nice strong candle. This is like a perfect example right here. I'd like to see the next candle be super strong, but this 15-minute right here, I was out to lunch when this happened, so I didn't really catch it. This 15-minute, we bring price back down, basically touch it. If we go over to NQ, NQ does the same thing, basically touches it too, but I'll show you NQ in a minute where we actually rebounded. But 15-minute strong push up, we were able to touch it, almost touch it here. That's where you want to get calls in. That's a strong buy right there. The move to market, the move ES right here at 4 o'clock in the morning. Someone bought in very well. 11,000. During overnight session, you're only getting 4, 6, 8. I believe that's when the Europe market opens or the Asia closes or something like that. So you want to mark this up in your charts, and then when price gets back down here, look like that. Lower time frames are a little bit not as good as the higher time frames. Until I really, I did short the market here and didn't really do well because we had that strong sell-off. I showed that wick kind of bottom wick. You just want like a nice basing candle, kind of smaller body, strong sell-off. Usually we come back up here and we sell off again, and we kind of broke above, but we did get a little sell-off. This is the 1 hour right here. This is a beautiful, look at this beautiful basing candle. I'd take the open to the high of the wick. We come back up, strong sell-off. We come back up. What we do, we sold off again. A 0.84% move is a strong move. You have 0-day SPY puts right there. You're probably making over 100%. And then it really helps when we're volatile. I always say that word wrong, but when we're obviously bouncing between ranges is a good time to use supply and demand. Yes, supply and demand doesn't work. One day, we keep bouncing back and forth. We just kind of keep bouncing here. And then one day we're just going to break through. But guess what? Every time we came down here, I grabbed a call. 1, 2, I'm 2 for 3. Every time we came up here, I'm grabbed a put. 1, 2, 3, I'm 3 for 3. So overall, I'm 5 for 6. I'm not complaining. Not complaining at all. So yes, we're just going to wait for a solid move. Hopefully tomorrow. We've been chopping back and forth, kind of this uptrend, and then we'll kind of put all the pieces together at the end on ES and show you what I think is going to happen. But just want to go over supply and demand first. So NQ, I like to chart both NQ and ES for supply and demand, because sometimes NQ hits its demand and pushes, and due to that, the market pushes. To kind of break it down, nothing seen 3-day. I'll show you some couple that are 3-day and 2 days that really work out. 24 hours works on normal charts. 4 hour. This is just really strange price action here. That's why I probably didn't calls. We got a 4 hour demand here. Would have been amazing if we came down and touched that demand and pushed up from there. That would have been a great time to get calls. Then we just continue to break it down. 3, 2, 1. See a 2 hour, nice strong bullish engulfing right here. And then boom, where we come back, we touched once. and then we came back and touched twice. So this one is definitely orange. I'm gonna put you on mute, FYI. This 2 hour, we came back, touched it once, came back, touched it twice. You look at this at a lower time frame. Came back, touched it, super strong sell-off into it, but really nice, buyback. Came back, touched it again. Usually I don't play the second touch. I just like the fresh, supply and demand. So right open, we really should have got QQQ calls. Kind of missed the boat on that one. Then to the upside, we're kind of definitely looking strange. We have a lot of consolidation right here. Just that whole overnight, a whole day right there. That's gonna be a tough consolidation to get over. And then we're kind of being held here, but I think we're gonna break through. You could tell there's that 4 hour one rejection there. We got into it, another decent rejection, and then like possibly a third rejection if we break it down into a lower time frames. When we hit it one time, I kind of like break it down and see if we have a possible new new supply, and I'll show you on different tickers on that one to see if a new supply is created with a sell-off. We'll possibly have one here. I would say that one was a decent one right here, not the strongest, because that's where we rejected it there. But at the end we'll go through ES and Cube, put our key levels and supply and demand, and we'll try to figure out where we're going on this one. So I had a meta today, using supply and demand. You can tell this doji right here, if we put, I think we have a lower time frame. This doji, and then we have basically a super strong gap up. Look at that beautiful retest right there. What we do, we push up again there. But what I'm looking here is we had that 4 hour, probably missed the boat on this one. We would have a, I don't use extended hours, but you got to pretend like there's a red candle right here. But I don't use red candles, I use white. But basically you have that push up and then a sell off, gap down. A gap down supply is definitely strong. You can tell as soon as we came back and touched that, and what we do, we sold off strong again. So main thing, we have above the gap, we kind of have like a base right here. So if we did break above that gap, we probably would have sold off again. So Meta, I was just watching, Meta had, I think, bad news with Russia the other day. Super, super strong sell-off. The market was up 3%. Meta was down like 5% that day. Crazy against the market sell-off. That shows you weakness. So Meta is actually able to recover. I'm looking for, again, possibility of that where we sold off super strong with a whole day sell-off to actually look for another sell-off and we were able to recover up there. But yesterday we kind of had a BS recovery and then sold off again. We had a good put there, but I was just watching Meta. Go on to 1 hour. Look for these kind of, just look how these movements are. We have a drop. After our sold off, we kind of pushed up. We pushed down. We pushed up. Strong sell off. We bought back in. We sold off again. And then we went up again. So, the strong sell off, of course, we missed that one. It's way up here. But I said there's a strong sell off. Again, we had this 1 hour right here. going into 14:30, 15. Yeah, going into end of the day right here. I was thinking 15:30 was after close, but we have that push up doji strong sell off. What did we do when we came back up to that supply again? What did we do? We sold off again. We caught that put. Nice 70% put right there. And actually, if I actually grabbed calls from, I think I broke it down into actually grabbed calls right here. The first bounce off of that demand right here. This is where we grabbed calls, had that weird wick. And that's where I decided to exit because I was like, this wick is weird. So I decided to exit, 20, 30% there. So Meta was, this chat I'm in, I said Meta's, I predicted Meta to go down. And we're going to hit this supply and then go up. And we played both ways on Meta. Pretty simple. If you guys have any questions, you guys just ask in after hours chat or just unmute. But Meta, you have that 1 hour supply, strong sell. So supply and demand, you want to look for strong sell-offs, strong buy-ins right there. Meta. Try to look at another play we had. Played Meta twice. NVIDIA. I played NVIDIA. I just know by the back of my hand where if you my pre-market I didn't said I really didn't like NVIDIA, but we had kind of a demand down here at a key level. They need to hold this. You can tell here's a key level. They need to hold this area or it's going down pretty fast. Yeah, I'm recording. So, that's where we touched, but kind of breaking it down. I think we grabbed the NVIDIA put the other day here. Or I missed it. But you can tell here's I gotta find it. 3 hour. I don't like that's like red candle. Usually supplies are gonna be green candles, but we have a decent gap down. Opened here, push up, that supply we came down, touched it twice, continue down. And then the video where I decided to exit was we entered this supply right here, this 1 hour supply. I did grab next week's, had a nice little push up, nice 30%. We had that 1 hour with a strong sell off. If you a lot of stocks you don't see, crazy supply and demands. That's why you just gotta wait, pick and choose. Tesla, we could go through Tesla. Tesla has a 2-day that I'm actually waiting for. But that bottom, where was this bottom? We could break this Tesla down into where did we bounce on Tesla? Look at this 4 hour strong push. We based again. We pushed. No, so this 4 hour supply, 4 hour demand, we were able to push over 25% of them, 25% on Tesla. We came back, beautiful touch of it, and then we pushed again. 17%. So that could have been good. I wish Tesla's prices weren't inflated, but you can tell, nice, look at that, nice drop. Beautiful doji, 4 hours. Now this is 8 hours right here. They agreed on price from 731 to 718 for 8 hours. A buyer stepped in strong. So another concept is when we get back to the price where buyers stepped in strong, there's going to be possibly unfilled orders that weren't filled here. Market makers, whales, and all that, they're still going to have that price to buy in. They buy in at 6. They buy in at 730. They don't buy in because the RSI is oversold or undersold. They're buying at a price. So they're watching. They're gonna just hold that price. They're like, oh, we're just gonna wait for a price to come down to 630 again, buying again. And they bought in again. We're able to push the market. You, me, people on Twitter aren't able to push Tesla like people think AMC, like they did AMC and GME. We're not gonna be able to push stocks like that. So you want to buy in where they're buying it. They bought in at 630. We're gonna wait for the price to come back down to 630, and guess what? We're buying in again. I prefer the first time because you tell we're kind of making higher lows. Eventually, this 630 is gonna get broken through. That's kind of our path right here. We might have a little small bounce 630, come back up here, and then break through like that, if the market allows that to happen. Apple's been kind of messing with this 3 hour. You have a strong drop. We based here, and then we had a drop with a gap down. We actually hit it today. I could have grabbed puts, but I didn't really have Apple on my chart until the first time we hit this right here. Nice 1.5% move, 1.6% move in the stock. You're grabbing weeklies on Apple, time that nice, grab a good contract, you're 50% right there. So, supply and demand is just waiting, trying to find out where buyers really like to buy and sellers are, definitely selling. I'll show you Roblox. I've been waiting for Roblox for a couple days, actually like 2 weeks, and I completely missed the boat. I was watching this 2 hour, 2 day right here. We had a 2 day strong drop, based, huge green candle. So we're just looking for that concept to come back down to where we pushed again, and we're gonna, where we pushed, and we're gonna possibly push again. What do? We pushed again. Kind of mad I missed that boat. 45% move in the stock. It's killer. On the upside, if Roblox gets to here, I'll probably short it. Look at Roku is something I'm waiting. I'm waiting for this to, you can have alert set. Hopefully it shows my alert right here. Watch it 97. High of 97. I don't know why my alert didn't go off, but high of 97. This one day, look at this one day. We had a strong push up and then a huge sell off. 3 ugly candles. Just waiting for that price to come up. Let's see tomorrow if we tap it, get in here, and then possibly sell off again. Shop's been pretty good with supply and demands. I don't play it because the prices are a little inflated. Can't wait for the stock split on it. But we have none daily. We have a push up, a doji with a gap down, strong sell off. So this would have been primed to get into when it touched right there. 16% move down. So it's all about going through your charts, and we could have played 1, 2 times. Of course, I only played the first when it's fresh. The second time is going to be can be a little iffy. You can still get into it and make money, but I prefer the fresh ones. I usually break it down into kind of a lower time frame where we didn't really hit that either. It broke above. But shop, right there, here's that touch. You can tell how it wicked on this 3 hour. Wicked super strong sell off. You can probably see a nice overall sell off the first time it touched. Yeah. Overall super strong, 5 minutes super strong. Gapped up. Shop's up 15% for the day. It hits its supply. What's it do? It sells off. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. Drop 3% because it hit that supply. It doesn't matter how strong it is. EBA I like to show. after earnings. We can show after earnings on BA. Let's go ahead and remove everything. If we go BA, this is a weekly one. On BA, we can see where we, let's look at our weeklies. These weeklies are, you're looking for small candles, big sell-offs. Sell off, came back up, sold off. BA works on the weekly pretty well. We have another one here. We kind of broke above, but we did sell off. Then here on the weekly, not the best one, but we did come back up here, sold off again. But this is what I like right here. Sell off. We bought back up a strong weekly candle here. Let's mark that up. We come back to that area again. What do? Huge sell off. Huge sell off. I'm surprised we haven't hit this weekly doji yet. I'd like to short it at about 148, 150. I would love to short BA right there. But BA on earnings. I'll show BA on earnings. So earnings, bad earnings. Right here. We'll replay. Let's lose the noise. So BA, bad earnings, had supply issues or whatever. Everything was pretty bad right there. But we take it back. We go back. We're like, okay, let's see where our supply and demands are down here. It's gonna mess this up every time. All right, so we have a doji right here. So 152. We're below 152. All right, let me try to figure out where we're at. All right, right there. So the 2-day we had this, strong sell-off. Nice base push up, kind of a doji here on the 2-day. And then I'll break it down to the daily. Let's look at what the daily is. All right, so the daily we had that gap here, and then we had kind of a candle there. I thought BA was on BA must have kept selling off. So we had a daily there. There we go. Yeah, that was it. Okay, so it's that daily. Kind of a strong pivot with a, a decent, not the best demand, but, we have a strong move, gapped up after hitting this right here. After earnings, really bad news. You break it down. You chase Boeing on this bad news. We're down 13%. If you feel like chasing Boeing, oh, they had bad news, it's going to go down. I'm going to break that pivot. No, it hits that daily demand. Pops up, able to recover 7%. So no matter, sometimes I like to say Trump news trumps TA, but not, sometimes when you hit the strong demand, you're going to reverse. BA had horrible earnings here, and they were able to reverse. So that's pretty much it on supply and demand. I like to do, lately I've been doing a lot of intraday, off, if you see, try to find something from today, kind of go on to 1 hour and just let price develop intraday. No, like right here, this would have been a nice on DraftKings. Kind of missed this one. There's your 1 hour supply, strong push up, able to break the previous swing high. We came down, touched it, pushed up again. So that's a nice intraday setup. I like to do it with, kind of the main tickers here. Microsoft yesterday. There's that doji. We had a doji. We came back up. Microsoft strong recovery. Do I use any indicators? I'll show you when we swing back to ES what I'd use. But Microsoft huge recovery from the gap down, made a doji, sold off pretty well. We came back, touched again, sold off. We had Microsoft puts, saw that. That's kind of like, if you don't want to get in calls and puts right at open, which I feel are really rewarding, but man, they're super risky. That's your time to, just let price develop. Look for a strong buy-in and strong sell-in. So if we actually do extended on this, we could probably find where, kind of price bounced. Didn't really make it down here. Where's that gap? But that's a nice little intraday. That's where I kind of use, kind of my like midday, end of day. You want to follow this, follow that, NVIDIA. We had this candle here, sell off. Even this one right here. This is where when we hit supply, we're creating a new supply here. Take this one off. We sold off. Opened up actually in supply and sold off pretty strong, right? Yeah, opened up in supply, sold off pretty strong. Oh, that was today. I missed that. Wow. Missed that one. That would have been a killer play. 4% move. So it's kind of just letting your intraday. Why don't I use extended hours? Because I feel like when you use extended hours, that's where your supply and demand is gonna happen. That's where your basing is gonna happen. A lot of basing happens, overnight. Like right here, I like to use the actual move where all the volume is. Sometimes I do pop on extended hours, especially with SPY. You can see, where did we, here's your extended hours. Yeah, you can tell we kind of, let's try to find out where that was. Doesn't really give us a strong, right here, nice end of day, right when market opened with a strong push, we kind of almost came back and touched it. But, kind of higher time frame, if you're looking at a lot of these stocks, just overnight session, you kind of is flat. So you're going to see a lot of basing. But I do like to pop it on because their hour candles are different than the hour on not extended. Because extended, you're 9 to 10. Non-extended is going to be 9:30 to 10:30. So you kind of get a little different time frames, but that's why, kind of where I like to watch. But that's why I mainly, that's why I like ES and NQ, and then I go off of those because they have that overnight session. So other indicators, I'm going to ask you what other indicators I use. My indicator list is right here. I use, of course, volume. If you don't use volume, I don't know what you're doing. I have this MTF dual EMA, which I could post a link to. Someone made me this. It's going to be whatever EMA, but I like to keep on a 10-minute. If you guys know Ripster's EMA clouds, he does it on the 10 minutes, but I don't chart on the 10-minute. I don't keep my charts on 10 minutes. So I like to um, have this one. This one keeps the 9 and the 34. I kind of switches up sometimes. You can tell that's that main 2 EMA clouds right here. But I like to keep it on the 10-minute because Ripsters only works on 10-minute. It doesn't stay. This MTF dual stays 10-minute no matter what time frame you're on. 2 minutes the same. But this one, if we're above it, we have nice bounce points. If we're riding it up, if we're in a spy call here and we're just riding up, there's no reason to get out of the play until we see a strong reversal where we actually break through that. But these are just nice bounce points. He likes to use bounce points. If you go to, where we bounce today, kind of where we bounce overnight right here, and we're probably going to ride this up. But let's see. That's a inverted head and shoulders. Yeah, he uses 8, 9, 15, 13, 34, 30, 50. But you can go through his, and then, of course, everyone should be using VWAP. Total supply and demand. Take most of my exit most of my plays with a VWAP test, or a VWAP test or a breakthrough. I have this SR channel, which kind of helps me with my key levels that we'll go over in a bit, but kind of points out where kind of previous spots. You can tell. I like it because I like to play what's the best EMAs to use. It's up to you. I just use a 934. People use 400. People use whatever. It's just whatever best. I only like to use it to stay in a play. So if we're riding that 13 up, like right here, there's no real, most people would be panic selling here. There's really no reason you could still ride that up. We're riding that EMA up. And that's why I like to use it. That's the only reason I use it. I don't use it any other way. It's editor channel, which will go over key levels, is kind of shows you former supports and former resistances. Sometimes I pop up the super order block, which gives me kind of supply and demands, but I don't really like them. But kind of lower time frame, I like to use this as to, are we breaking swing highs? If we're making an uptrend, we're gonna keep, if we keep going up, we're gonna keep making lower highs or higher lows. So there's really no point to grab a put here until we're able to break that one. Then we're starting to reverse the trend, and then we'll probably go down like that. Not off those exact lines, but we're making lower highs. The trend is up. If you overall look at ES, the trend right now from this low is up, making a higher low, another higher low. So let's see if we continue that until we're pushing a little bit until that breaks. I'm not really looking to. It's still short to market and make money, but kind of lower time frame. That's where you really want to. Really want to short. This uptrend right here, we're making higher lows, making higher lows, making higher lows, making a higher low. But what did we do? We finally broke through. Now we're making lower lows, lower lows, lower lows. Then now we're making higher lows. Sideways after, and then we're continuing up. So that's when you really want to start looking into kind of looking into puts. This is where I like to short the market on futures. So you put it right before that previous pivot. It's 38.07. I bet you wake up and the market's down 3%. Oh, I wish. But that's why don't grab puts here. Don't grab puts unless we're hitting a supply. This is your best spot to hit put 11:30. We were able to break structure. We're making higher lows, uptrend. People will do. I think I had this rising wedge charted too. But that's a rising wedge, uptrend, and then we started making lower lows, and that was a good time to short the market. But let's go ahead and do some key levels. So if you guys were in VC today, I told them don't grab puts unless we do what was it? A 3770 retest. So looking at, we'll just go ahead and take all these off, kind of make it less noise. I have key levels up here already for a lot of things. So we basically have former key levels for me is a former support that turns resistance that you want to become a support again, or vice versa. Right here. This is why is 38.07 very important right now. This is a former our May low support. Until we broke below, kind of used as that perfect resistance here. Broke above, but strong sell-off, kind of a fake out here. Resistance here, kind of had two resistances there, and we're starting to break above it right now. So, and then we had, you're just looking for consolidation areas, consolidate. Now you see we came back down here, pushed up, bounce. So that's kind of our path. So that 37.08 market's flying. Here's your former support. We're able to break through. We use this as resistance. So there's two different times you could get into this play. You could do on the break or on the retest. Strong, boom. So we could have taken calls on the break. I don't like playing breakouts. I prefer retests because I feel like breakouts you're playing, your risk and reward is not as good. But so that 37.08 is definitely a strong area, and you got 36.56. If we go back on 36.56, even go way back in December 20, we had almost like a triple bottom. December, January, that perfect bottom February 1st. So definitely a key support, where the market want to hold. Market wanted to hold there. So we're just looking, 4 hour, look at your 4 hour, look at your 2 hour, and just look for key spots where we are using a support as a resistance, and then vice versa. Overnight, you tell our overnight session we kind of were like this. This is where I said the 3770. And then we kind of had our low here. Kind of overnight, we're just bouncing back and forth here. So here's our key support, key resistance. We're able to break above. You tell, look at how many times did we break, how many times did we bounce off that 3770? Possibly once there, bounce there. But you can tell, look at beautiful small rejection breakthrough. So when we were in VC, people were looking to short the market. I was like, wait for 3770, which was former resistance. That turned support. And let's see if we could possibly see it as resistance again. And at 3770, we broke through pretty strong, and we came back up, used that as resistance, and then it continued down. So a lot of stocks you want to use this. And there's a lot of people who use um, kind of boxes because you don't really need the exact number. That's a bright box. Let's do that. So I mean, so you just want to go through. That's why I kind of like this SR channel. See where did I put that box? Like SR channel is showing we used to have a former support here. That's now turned resistance. Where did it have this earlier? That resistance here became support. Market pushed up. So if you're just charting, just chart, just keep, there's your little box. Resistance, 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 broke above, support, huge push right at open. You use this on a lot of different stocks. Let's see what I have. If you go to AMD, previously AMD had a lot of I think it was like about on this 100 area right here. So around this 100 area was a nice, probably even take it back. No, support here, kind of a resistance. Broke above, kind of faked out, probably market sold off pretty strong, so it didn't work. Used as a resistance again, so that was a pretty nice, we broke through. Came back up, used 100 as resistance, strong sell-off. Another resistance, popped up, support, strong push, little bounce off of it, broke down. So when AMD gets to 100, this is definitely a key level. You want to look through these charts. You want to find these key levels if we're going to break through, kind of use as a support or use as a resistance. Kind of this low here is another area. I'd really like to see it kind of uses as a resistance continue on, but we did break down from this area today, so that was actually could have been a nice little put there. Could just go through some charts on this. Meta right here. We had that kind of that buy-in from the earnings. Nice push up. Came down, broke through, retested it, dropped. You just want to use key areas. Microsoft has a few just because Microsoft's pretty boring. You know, when Microsoft gets up here, definitely not sure what's going to happen. It's like Microsoft consolidates a lot. Just move the box. There we go. And like right here, we use it as support a ton. If I push it back here, we kind of use it as a support here. Actually, a pretty strong, actually a nice little level here. Yeah, right there. Okay. Yeah, I could post here. So, side note, someone asked about my tickers. I have in positions. I have my main ES, SPY, QQ, TLT, US10, ETH because I'm dollar cost averaging into Ethereum right now, VIX. Then I have my main. This is my bread and butter right here: Apple, AMD, Meta, Microsoft, Nvidia, Tesla. If you want to play any stocks with SPY, play these. High liquidity, know these by the back of your hand. I had the section 1, which if I'm not seeing anything here, I start looking at these stocks like, Affirm, which I actually need to move down here. Amazon, Crowd, FedEx, Google, Lucid, these Snap, Square, Twitter. Then I have the section 2, which is like kind of ones that keep on watch: Pins, Peloton, DraftKings, CRM, Chewy, Baba, Airbnb, BA, and then kind of pharmaceuticals, Snow, SE down here. I switch these all back and forth, but these are the main stocks I trade. Um, Basically, this watch list is the only one I have up, and basically just trade these. And then if I'm not liking any of those, I'll go through Goldman Sachs, Goldman Sachs. I'm waiting for this thing to freaking do something already. We're straight flagging. Lucid, just go through those. But the key levels, Tesla, I have these marked up here. Look at Tesla, where's a former resistance, that becomes support. Kind of use SR channel. That 705 area seems support, broke through, broke up. Use that as support, broke above. Look at bounce. Look how many times they consolidate over this 700. Pushed up, resistance. Where was our huge push the other day? Huge push over that 700. Opened up yesterday at 700. Strong push up. 729 is another kind of area where support, kind of a resistance, kind of ish support resistance. And you can tell like the previous day that 729, strong resistance, broke above, wasn't able to hold, broke down. So today that bounce off 700 was actually a decent buy-in. Today, no, 686. But a small bounce off 700, but at 686, two bounces off 686. So Tesla's holding 686 right now. But 700 was kind of like, I did this little pivot, strong push up. That was support here, Kind of use as resistance. A little support here. Actually broke through pretty strong. But that's key levels. You want to go through your charts, look at stocks, that are key levels. You could tell, if we go to NVIDIA, you could tell just some stocks, go level to level. Oh, it's gonna ping me right there. Okay. NVIDIA, like right here, using this as support, using that as resistance. Previously, we're using this down here as support. And what are we using right now? Support. So when I took a call, when we bounced off 160, why did I do that? Because we keep bouncing off that 160 area, 160. I like to use round numbers because I think market makers are buying at 160, they're not going to buy at 160.05. So I like to stick to the round numbers. Here's our strong sell-off. I had that 160 key level. We got in. Nice push up. Even after a strong sell-off, that key level was able to hold. We could have got in here. What we get on that? The video 1.36 to 1.62. Not bad. Could have held. I think it went to like 2.3. And then we had like another bounce here. But that 160. Look at that. We go on a 10-minute. This thing's at 160. Previous. Not that one. Can't tell me that 160 is not a key level. resistance, support, support. We broke down, resistance, resistance, broke through, used as support, support kind of broke through, and then pushed up. Definitely have your stocks on here. The Apple kind of right here. We're using resistance, resistance. How many times resistance broke up? Big sell off. And we're kind of using this as support right now, 135. So we could take actually a call at open, or after that sell off at open at that bounce. Would have been a nice sell. Would have been a nice. Oh, market's pushing. Would have been a nice support bounce. That's pretty much it on the key levels. I just like to look for meta right here. See if we can break through this box. 160, where I've been struggling. We're struggling with this 160 right now. Support, 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 support. Broke through. Resistance multiple times. So if we're able to break through it, I think we'll squeeze. Want to go over squeezing a little bit, kind of what we're doing right now. What I think squeezing is just where a lot of shorts are created and we broke above. And then so the shorts need to cover and they buy. So you kind of want to look at your stock. Stick to the 1 hour and see where a lot of resistance points are made. A lot of resistance, like right here is where a lot of resistance was made. ES looks better though. Like right here, a lot of shorts. Eventually we broke above. We were able to squeeze up. Yeah, Callan, have you talked to Royal about EV? Shoot him a message. He's I think his dad has something to do with EV sector, and he's really big into the EVs. Like he thinks Lucid should be shorted, but right here I think we kind of are gonna at 3806. I think we might squeeze if we are able to break over it, but I don't like an overnight squeeze. I don't like to see an overnight squeeze. That's why I think this little rally end of day was kind of fake. But yeah, Callan, sorry if I'm saying that wrong name. But yeah, shoot Royal a message. I'll shoot him a message, tell him you're messaging him. But he's I think his dad does SPACs and EV sectors. But yeah, don't like a squeeze overnight because a lot of participants aren't playing overnight. We tell here's a lot of selling. A lot of selling right here. So if we're able to break over this, break over this, I think we'll start to squeeze up and probably fill that gap. That's what I think a squeeze is. Like right here, they tried to shorten the market down, shorten the market down, shorten the market down, shorten the market down. Eventually, we broke above, so we had to squeeze up. Eventually, we get down to that price, probably where the shorts finally got out, and then even stronger bounce. So that's what I think of a squeeze. Let's go ES and kind of figure out where we're going to head towards and see. Let's see what's going to happen tomorrow. Friday we only have something at 10 a.m. The University of Michigan sentiment is the only thing. But right now, as of now, we are making, since we made our monthly low, we are making higher lows. So our trend, short-term trend is up, long-term trend is down. We're down big this year. So the main thing I want to see is, are we able to break these higher lows? Are we going to keep, we're making higher low, higher low. So definitely keep that on watch going in tomorrow. We keep making a higher low, we keep making a higher low. If we're able to break that trend, we should continue back down until we get into a possible supply area or demand area and then pop back up. But as of right now, we are making an uptrend, short-term uptrend. Big pivot here, super strong sell-off. Let's see what happens there. Here's our hour. Let's actually make that better looking. Let's line that up good. I have that magnet off, that's why. Hour. Strong sell-off, and then possibly this little doji. So that's a drop, rally, base, drop, or do we have a rally, or we have a drop, we base, and then we drop? Yeah, I have my own channel, Excalibur Alerts. I'm the lead analyst for Highborn. I decided to put on a class because usually Professor X puts our classes on and he's busy all week, so it's like, hey, I'll run a class, start doing some charting. I might sleep in a little bit since I'm doing all my charting today. But right here, we definitely need to break over this pivot. You tell kind of, we still haven't broken over our FOMC high. So, let's see if we can break over these two supplies up here. And then we kind of have another supply just a little bit above it, which we rejected on that FOMC high. Beautiful. I mean, you have this 2-hour supply. Let's drop, base, huge drop. We come back FOMC high, sold off. So to the upside, we have that we need to break through kind of this pivot from June 15th, and then we have kind of this drop, base drop from the 12th of June, and then we should be able to gap fill up to 3,900. I doubt we go that high. I'm so bearish though. A lot of people are saying I don't like doing patterns, but I keep them in the back of my head. Are we making a inverse head and shoulders? Possible. But let's see if our trend, the main thing tomorrow is let's see if our trend is going to reverse. Did we actually reject that? Oh, almost rejected it. See, and then we're back below that key level. I personally think we're going to wake up and the market's going to be down over 1%. Because if we go to SPX on the daily, if we end the day at the daily high or close to the daily high, what do we do the next day? We gap down. So we did one gap down here, we gap down there, gap down there, there. Every red arrow, open, close. This one doesn't count because right here, open, had that end of day stupid rally, gap down. So in a bear market, we kind of have those fake rallies. And that's why I decided to take that SPY put. We had that end of day just out of nowhere, last 30-minute push. And then I'm going through tickers like Netflix. I'm like, okay, just looking through tickers. Peloton, why, like really, why is Peloton running? Riot. I can see Shop, yeah. But then I looked at Netflix. I was like, okay, Netflix had downgraded. Netflix is downgraded, laid off 300 employees, and look, it's pushing end of day. Moderna pushing end of day. FTX pushing end of day. FTX destroyed earnings. They're way gapped up. You know, a lot of stocks are just pushing end of day. So I'm just like kind of a little suspect of it. So that's why I'm like, okay, that end of day rally really has no substance behind it. You know, if they want to do that, they'll do that during the day. I don't know why they're doing end of day. No, ES, super strong push, end of day. SPY, super strong push, end of day. So that's why I decided to grab that. But hopefully it pays off. It's far out, so if we do gap up, you know, I'll just close that open and call it a day. But that pretty much, I don't know if you guys have any more questions. But yeah, just, you know, if you supply and demand doesn't trigger, you know, it takes a lot of practice. I've been doing it supply and demand for a long time. I'm still learning new stuff every day on it. If that doesn't trigger, just stick to your key levels. You want, you know, intraday, you're looking for, you know, places where we had former support that now becomes resistance. Even, you know, SPY intraday, just go your 5 minute. Oh yeah, you honestly, if you don't learn something new every day, you're not. I mean, you're not doing it right. Like you should learn something new every day in the stock market. You know, here SPY intraday, we had a nice push up. We kind of saw a resistance here. Able to push up. You know, if we do mark that up as a key level, you know, hey, we caught some resistance here. We look back at yesterday, kind of a support there yesterday. Where did we bounce? Boom, right at that level. Pushed up again, another bounce there. So, you know, even intraday, you could find that. You know, that's why they say like double tops. You know, double top here. You know, where's our top? Support, support, or resistance, resistance. We broke above resistance, resistance, resistance. Are we able to break past that? You know, I think 380 is gonna be really tough, but that's gonna be it for me. I'll post the recording when I get uploaded. I appreciate you guys for joining. Let's kill it tomorrow. Lotto Friday.